Good morning, and thank you all for being here with us today to learn the latest about our neighborhood zone in West Baltimore. As was stated, I'm Franklin Baker, the president and CEO of United Way of Central Maryland, and we have lots and lots of exciting updates today to share about this very exciting project. As many of you know, United Way has been working very hard, 24/7, in the communities that we serve, to do two things: to provide what's needed where it's needed. And as we all know, this pandemic has taken a devastating toll on people, residents and members of our community who were already struggling to get by. And here we are. We're here to help, as we have been for almost 100 years. And as you can imagine, new needs are emerging every single day. And needs we saw before have been amplified by the pandemic. The need for food, for housing, for help paying the bills, utilities, etc. So we're serving those who have never missed a rent payment before, who never had to worry if their family, right, had enough to eat, who all of a sudden can't pay their bills because their hours were cut back, or perhaps their job was slashed due to COVID. Here's the thing. We're giving them and all those who were struggling before the pandemic, we're giving them everything we've got, everything we have to muster to help them recover and rebuild their lives. It's what we do here at United Way. Part of our work involves investing our efforts in particularly challenged neighborhoods. And let's be clear, the people in the neighborhoods we work in have lots of determination and grit. They are full of assets, fully resourced in many ways, but some in those neighborhoods need more help, more support, enhanced skills, right? Better access to resources so they can live their best lives and live their best lives on their own terms. One of these neighborhoods is Poppleton on the city's west side. West Baltimore is among our city's most under-resourced in many ways. It ranks near the bottom on measures of social capital, education, neighborhood quality, and yes, public health and safety. Here are a couple of quick stats to just sort of put this in perspective for you. In Poppleton and the surrounding area, just very intriguing to hear this, almost 60% of children live below the federal poverty line. And the median household income may be astonishing to some. It's only about $20,000 per year. So the need, folks, is truly great in this neighborhood. This neighborhood really has struggled against long-standing barriers for decades. And over time, others have really stepped in with well-meaning efforts to, in quotes, fix, right, the deep-seated issues that have prevented its residents from really striving and getting ahead. But we believe here at United Way that the only way that works is if you listen to and work with the community. It works if you really work with its residents, work with the local leaders and the businesses, really rub shoulders with the agencies and the organizations that care about communities. Because buy-in and community involvement are key. They really are crucial to the success of any program, any initiative designed to help. And for that initiative to have long-term impact that's meaningful and that's also positive for its residents. And that's just what United Way does. In fact, University of Maryland, Baltimore saw the success of our nationally acclaimed neighborhood zone in Brooklyn, in South Baltimore, which is actually a model of community collaboration. And because of our deep work, trench listening, working with community individuals in Brooklyn, and the amazing results it generated, and because we had really worked closely with them on other projects, UMB invited us to join them in their work to improve lives in the Poppleton community. In fact, Dr. Jay Perman, who's now the Chancellor of the University System of Maryland, he said that he considered United Way's partnership to be really one of the most exciting things about their work in this neighborhood. Now that's a big deal from my perspective, right? And this powerful partnership, and I really state that clearly, it's a powerful partnership, will truly be a catalyst for transforming this neighborhood. And so our work in Poppleton will complement in many ways the programs that UMB offers through its very successful Community Engagement Center. And it really will focus on multi-generational support, which is really, really important. You'll hear more about each of the various components, and there are several, of this United Way Neighborhood Zone model from other speakers in our time this morning. But here's just a really quick overview, right? So we'll offer an on-site family center with quality childcare for student parents. And the essence is whatever we need to do to help them to stay in school and ultimately graduate and move on with their lives. We'll also offer housing assistance and quick referrals to critical health and human service needs with an on-site 211 Maryland helpline professional. So on-site, available to the community. And here's something fun with our partners, and we're so grateful for them. We're building a nature-based playground for children that will provide a great sort of outdoor environment for those youngsters to play and learn and also grow. So to tell you more, I'm now going to turn this over to our other speakers, starting with first, Dr. Bruce Gerald, who's the president of the University of Maryland, Baltimore. And we're just so grateful to have him. And again, thank you for being part of this insider's look at our work in Poppleton. And thank you to all of our wonderful partners, those who are deeply committed to really strengthening a neighborhood with really lots of great potential. Dr. Gerald?
Thank you, Franklin. And it's a great pleasure to be here. Your comments are just inspiring. And every time I interact with you, I just realize how important the relationship between UMB and the United Way is. And I hope that we can fully develop this for the benefit of the community and for Baltimore in general. And I just look forward to our further involvement. I just hope we can keep up with you, Franklin, because you go at a fast pace. And those were all really impressive accomplishments that you've got in terms of feet on the ground. I would be remiss, though, if I didn't reinforce my commitment to the Southwest Partnership. As Franklin pointed out, President Perman has moved to a different job within the university system of Maryland. And I have now been president of the University of Maryland, Baltimore for about 5 months. But I want to reassure everyone here that I'm committed. I'm committed to it being an anchor institution. I'm committed to our West Baltimore initiatives. And I don't need to say that we're committed to working with Franklin Baker on these many United Way things. Franklin asked me to just make a couple of comments about the COVID pandemic, excuse me, and what UMB has been up to, and I'm pleased to do that. Some of you may not realize that UMB really is a powerhouse of research when it comes to COVID-19. And we were one of the first universities in the US to get the COVID-19 first samples from China. Turned out that we had a very well-established laboratory that could sequence and look into this virus in great detail very rapidly. It also turned out that we had an internationally known what's called Center for Vaccine Development, which has been here for over 40 years. It's now led by Dr. Kathy Newsel. And you may have seen some of our people on different venues. Dr. Newsel is really a very well-established vaccine developer internationally. Dr. Wilbur Chen and Dr. David Marcosi are also on our staff and are consultants to the governor of Maryland and many other public health experts. We, in fact, in May of last year, my gosh, it's almost a year now, back in May, we started the first Pfizer trial, and we finished that around September. In September, we started the Moderna trial. And I'm pleased to tell you that I was part of that trial. The first day after the regents approved me as president, I was sitting in their office getting a shot in my arm. Now, of course, at the time, I didn't know what it was, but turns out I did, in fact, get the active vaccine. I didn't find that out until last month. and we're right in the midst of a third trial with another vaccine called Novavax. And we have plans to develop pediatric trials. I suspect that's on everyone's minds. What about our children? And how do we protect them as well? And we're going to be very much involved with that. We've also been very active through the Community Engagement Center in partnership with United Way. We've distributed food throughout the West Baltimore community from the Community Engagement Center. We launched a Food for Our Front Lines program, and this had a dual-prong approach. One, we wanted to help the small businesses survive and thrive in West Baltimore. And so we actually have and I hope, Ashley, you'll talk about our economic inclusion specialist in this discussion about how we're trying to get our procurement needs met by these organizations, as well as supporting the frontline workers on our own campus with lunches, et cetera, as well. We're also doing welfare checks on our neighbors, linking them to resources and offering virtual sessions. And I don't know whether, Ashley, your whole team here is here, but of course, Tyrone Roper at the Community Engagement Center has been very instrumental in making some of these things happen as well. The one or two other things I want to let you know is we have been very busy over the last 2 months getting a vaccination center organized in our campus center right there on Lombard Street. And we have now done in that location close to 50,000 vaccinations. And we're in the final discussions with the city of Baltimore, hopefully to be a major vaccination center for them for our West Baltimore neighbors and citizens, starting with the seniors. We have been at a disadvantage from the point of view of vaccine is not available to us. It's available to the city and the state. And when they give it to us, we have it to hand out. So we're hoping that that will ramp up. And we're hoping that the zip codes that are representative of those on the call here will get high priority for that vaccine. And I don't mind telling you, I think it's a safe vaccine. I think it's important for you to get it as soon as you can get it, because this has been, while there's many millions vaccinated with this, and the complication rate is quite low and the protection is quite high. So I want to emphasize that. So I look forward to continuing to work with all of you. And I'm unfortunately going to run from this meeting, but I'm going to hand it off to Ashley Bayless. I suspect Ashley doesn't need an introduction. She's the executive director of our community engagement program, and she'll talk more about the Community Engagement Center. So I'll hand it over to Ashley. And Franklin, thank you very much for having me. I look forward to further interaction. So Ashley, it's all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Gerald. Thank you so much. I know you have to go, so it's being recorded, so we will share that with you, and you can be sure I'll make you watch it. So thank you, Franklin, again for your leadership, pulling everyone together today. I just want to say and reiterate, I think I've said it 1,000 times, how thrilled we are to be connected to United Way. You know, I think it was Stacy Ulrich from Under Armour who was meeting with Dr. Perman at the time, getting an update on UMB in the community, what we were doing in Poppleton and other neighborhoods in the Southwest Partnership. And she looked out his window and said, you know, United Way's moving into the Montgomery Park building. So they're going to be your neighbor too, and they are doing such similar work. You guys should join forces. And a few short years later, this last year felt like a long one, here we are, and we are pleased to let you all know that we did partner. We have made a lot of progress, and the next few years are going to feel like light years, I think, given where we're going to go. So, you know, just quickly, you heard from Franklin that we now have a 2-on-1 specialist as a pilot, United Way. I don't think Franklin has done this before, where we put a person in the building at the Community Engagement Center. You can see behind me in my virtual background here was our groundbreaking. And now the building is open. We have Neil, he is our 211 specialist inside. He's doing virtual now, but we'll open that up to in-person the late spring, early summer. We're deeply embedded at James McHenry, and lo and behold, United Way becomes the community school partner there. So that's just fabulous. And then we've been working with Beth and her team to make sure our neighbors have what they need, household items, food, all of that. And then again, the eviction prevention, which unfortunately I think is going to become a real challenge here in the next few months. We're already in place to tackle that with our resource manager, Sierra Jackson, who's also embedded at James McHenry. So that's all moving in the right direction. What I think we're most excited about and here today to hear more about is the Family Center at Excel. That Excel Academy is only about 2.5 blocks from the new Community Engagement Center. We're located on South Poppleton Street, so you would just go West Baltimore to Schroeder and you're there. And so really what that's gonna offer is each and every family and student in the Family Center program and at Excel in general is going to have access to everything that we do at the Community Engagement Center. And so I think that, you know, all of our programs, we're doing in-person tax prep right now, both in person and virtually. So free tax preparation for our neighbors is happening at the CEC. Health and Wellness Program by Dr. Kelly Duran from our School of Nursing is going to be built out over the spring to operate in the summer. And so we really have a whole host, you know, of well-being services, if you will, at the CEC that Tyrone Roper and his team are growing. And so all of those programs and services are now linked to the Family Center at Excel, which we're just thrilled about. And, you know, we really do look at UMB and United Way as anchor institutions in this part of West Baltimore. And, you know, that's just, I think, how we have to operate. I see Lorraine just put something in the chat about activity in Poppleton this morning, which I was going to touch on. Demolition of some houses that is quite controversial is happening today. So if you hear about that in the news, we are actively engaged in those conversations on both sides right now. So I'm going to turn it over now to Heather Chapman, my partner in crime at United Way, Vice President of the Neighborhood Zone Initiative. And she can tell you a little bit more about the progress that we've made. And then I think we're going to watch a really cool video to show you all the progress in real life as much as we can do during COVID. So Heather, take it away.
Thanks so much, Ashley. We really have enjoyed working with the UMB team. And I feel like we've only scratched the surface with what we can do working with UMB. And also, you know, Dr. Jarrell mentioned Southwest Partnership, I think, who also is so key to all of this work here in Southwest, in West Baltimore. And so Poppleton is one of 3 neighborhood zones, you know, that we work with, and we understand and we know that each neighborhood, and especially in Baltimore, is uniquely tailored. We know each neighborhood is different, right? And so our neighborhood zones are uniquely tailored to each community because we understand that each neighborhood has different characteristics, has different assets and different needs. And so what we do with neighborhood zones is we really take time to listen to understand what work is already being done in each community, where are the strengths, where are the assets, and what are the needs that residents and partners that they see in their eyes from their perspective, and then really working to co-create solutions, building on those assets to fill gaps, you know, within our mission with partners and residents. And so you heard Franklin talk a little bit about our role in Poppleton, and so I'd love to give you an update on where we are with that. You heard Ashley talk some already about having our first ever on-site 211 community resource specialist, Neil Brooks. So we're really excited about that. We're excited about continuing to work really closely with the UMB CEC team to ensure that community residents are comfortable reaching out to Neil about, you know, for a myriad of resources that may be needed, whether that's housing support. Right now it's tax season, so tax prep, you know, and along with kind of 211 and the CEC team, mental health support. Those are all huge during COVID time. We know also that that position will continue to evolve as we learn more about the existing and emerging needs of our residents. So we're excited to see just where that position goes as it continues to grow. Sierra Jackson, you also heard about Sierra Jackson, our lead for the Family Stability Program. And so with that homeless prevention program and housing support program, Sierra has been able to support 11 families through our homeless prevention program since February 2020. And as a result, for those specific 11 families, we've seen 100% of those families be stably housed for that time. So the goal of the program is to keep them stably housed, and 100% of their children remain in their school of origin. And so I think really speaks to the partner work of the partnerships, because that work could not be done, again, without the hard work of those families, Sierra, the partnership and collaboration within the community, because we can't do it alone. The partnerships are so important. And so also another 45 families were provided with light touch case management. And so that involves resource coordination, advocacy, helping to support families apply for benefits, and additional wraparound services. And so, yes, I saw somebody say Sierra is amazing. She is amazing. And so we're thankful for that work. And again, our partners, no one can do it alone. And so we're thankful for that. James McHenry is one of those partners. And so, community school coordinator Heidi Stevens, who also is pretty amazing, is working with partners that are local, state, federal, to provide resources to families in the community. And so some examples of that recent outreach, Facebook group on Eviction 101, which we know is important, especially during the time and will be in the months to come, around Know Your Rights. There's a panel discussion there, a 300 sneaker giveaway, and also monthly food distribution through the Maryland Food Bank, which we know is so important at this time where food insecurity is so huge. And so, we're excited about the support and the partnership that Heidi continues to provide in the community. And so, what we're all also here to hear about is, our next support that's to launch that family center at Excel Academy, which is our second family center. And just so you know, there's a third also underway in Columbia and Howard County. And so the Family Center at Excel Academy has been designated a family support center by the Maryland Family Network, and you'll hear more from them soon in our video. Construction is slated to begin in April. And when we open in July, we will have space to serve 18 parenting students and their infants and toddlers. We'll also be supporting expectant students as well. So while we'll be doing that, we'll also be providing home visiting supports for 34 parents. And the goal of this is to meet parents where they are. We know that not all parents will be able to access services on site. And so we want to break down any of those barriers that they have to that. And so just to go to their home so that they'll have access to early childhood wraparound supports in their home. And so any, those parents who have children ages 0 to 3 will have access to those services. And so we'll also continue to work with staff at Excel Academy to develop a plan to engage our expectant and parenting students, so that we will kind of get ahead of the game before we open, to build those relationships. So that's really important to us, working alongside staff who already have those relationships. And also just making sure that we know that we've all had to adjust with COVID, right, continuously. And so just having a plan that regardless of where we are with COVID at the time, when we open, where we are next year, we're ready to provide services virtually if we need to. And so in our Brooklyn location, we have been providing virtual services from the time that COVID hit. We quickly pivoted to a virtual model to make sure that our students and families can continue to engage. And so, what that looks like is having our shuttle driver work along with our staff to ensure that our families have a package of materials, individual packets of materials that are dropped off at their homes. So those are educational materials, but then also personal materials that they may need, diapers, wipes, things like that, dropped off at their individual homes so that then they can follow along in lessons virtually. If they need, electronic devices to follow along, we make sure they have those, but they follow along on a daily basis, stay connected with the teachers. They're still getting their lessons in their home. Then the parents are, that's for the infants and toddlers. And then the parents are still able to participate in parenting groups and support groups in their home with our licensed social worker. And so the services are seamless. They look different, but they're still seamless and they still receive that support. And so we just want to ensure that they remain engaged. And so we want you to know that we could not and cannot do any of this by ourselves without the community, without our partners, and surely without our donors. And so for that, we are thankful for all of you all. And so we'd like to share this video that will show you some of our key partners that we are so very thankful for, who have helped us to navigate this and continue to work very, very closely with us and offer their perspective on our work in Poppleton together. So please direct your attention to this video.
Sonya Poppleton Now Community Association President. Poppleton, it's a neighborhood that I grew up in. Not only did I grow up in Poppleton, my dad was raised up in Poppleton. All the new development that's happening here in Poppleton, there's a need for families. What used to be that made this community popular, is that we had plenty of families that lived here, be it private housing or public housing. We was able to live together. To try to restore Poppleton back to a neighborhood, is the goal of the Poppleton Now Community Association. And so to hear about United Way coming to our neighborhood, the resources and services that they have been able to offer to our children, the youth is very important. So having a resource such as a daycare, child care center in this building would be awesome, for our children. Also for the males, a male support, something that these teenagers can get some support, because you're not going at home. They're not getting a lot of that support from home. And there's also not a lot of these services outside of the home that they really know about.
So my name is Tony Scott. I'm the Executive Director for the Southwest Partnership. The Southwest Partnership is a coalition of 7 neighborhood associations and 6 institutions in Southwest Baltimore, working to revitalize our neighborhoods, celebrate our collective community cultures, and to invest in people. Southwest Baltimore is an amazing part of town. Its strengths are primarily its people and the families that have been here for generations, who've really invested in making the quality of life better. Our proximity to downtown is unparalleled, and it provides a lot of access to resources and connections and networks that we wouldn't otherwise have being farther away from those areas of strength. What the frustration is being so proximate to so many good institutions and resources, but not having those resources actually invested in our neighborhoods and supporting our families. And so, a lot of disinvestment from old commercial corridors like Baltimore Street and Holland's Market have really left us devastated in providing access to healthy and clean food, investment in our schools, in our families in the neighborhood. And we're excited about partnerships, especially with United Way, that help to bring those kind of resources to our neighborhoods and strengthen our ability to attract new residents, to support our current residents, and to really elevate the quality of life for everyone.
Hi, I'm Laura Wheeldryer. I'm the Executive Director of Maryland Family Network. We're a statewide nonprofit organization that runs a network of family support centers around the state. So what is a family support center? A family support center is a 2-generation model designed to support young children up to the age of 3 in high quality early care and designed to support parents at the same time who are on site with their children, getting a variety of supports. And today, I could not be more delighted to talk about our brand new partnership with United Way. We are thrilled that United Way and Maryland Family Network will be working together for a variety of reasons. I will tick off a few of the most important. First of all, United Way's long institutional roots and relationships in Baltimore and Central Maryland are both a complement to Maryland Family Network and a huge value added to this project. So that is delightful. The second thing is United Way has an amazing nationally renowned track record serving parenting students at the Ben Center in South Baltimore. Under the best of circumstances, I think we can all agree that parenting is so challenging, and parenting while finishing your high school diploma is a task few of us would complete successfully. So the fact that you all have a successful track record at this is so exciting to us, and we are greatly looking forward to the partnership.
Hello, I'm Sonya Santelisis, Chief Executive Officer of Baltimore City Public Schools and proud board member of United Way of Central Maryland. For many years, United Way has been an invaluable partner for city schools, providing targeted support through a wide range of programs and services that benefit our schools, students, and families, as well as the communities in which they live. The new Family Center in West Baltimore is a perfect example of this collaboration, combining the efforts of community organizations, the University of Maryland, Baltimore, United Way, and city schools to benefit the entire community, and especially the students and their families of Excel Academy. United Way supports these types of initiatives in neighborhoods across Baltimore City, while also providing ways to support numerous specific programs within our school district through the annual City Schools United Way campaign, which we will be launching next month. City Schools is proud and grateful to be associated with the United Way of Central Maryland, and we look forward to our continued partnership on behalf of the families and young people we are both committed to serve. Thank you.
Eugenia Young. I'm the principal of Excel Academy High School at Francis M. Wood for Baltimore City Public Schools. This is my third year in city schools. This is my 19th year as a principal. Most of my principal career has been in urban schools. I love being a principal. I think that I have a job that allows for me to provide students something tangible that will change the trajectory of their life, which is education. United Way Family Center will definitely provide not only the daycare for the students, right? But they will also provide other resources, whether it's the 211 services to be able to assist our homeless students, or whether it is able to be able to direct our students and people in the community to benefits in areas where they can get other resources to be able to help them. So we are looking for the daycare. The daycare is going to be awesome for our students because it allows them to not only be a student, but be a parent, and they don't have to worry about their child. But we also, again, will be a hub for that community. And so there will be other resources that the United Way Family Center will provide for the community, which will, again, will strengthen the relationship between the community and our school. Many of our students are not with family, so they don't live with family. And they have issues and from that range from mental health issues to financial issues to just relationship issues with their families. A lot of the students that we serve at Excel, the choices that were made by the adults in their lives were not positive choices, which affected them. And so we want to be able to provide a stable place for our students. You cannot allow those issues to define your success, and I will not allow you to. And so they're survivors. You know, they fight through, And the United Way Family Center will be another advocate for them, another place that has people who care about their well-being as students and as people and as parents, and another positive influence in their lives. And they need that. Daycare and childcare currently in this country is very expensive, right? And so a lot of times a student feels if they get pregnant as a teenager, they can't finish high school. And which doesn't allow them to become a sustainable adult, right? And so we are excited. The students are excited. I get constant phone calls about the daycare from students to families to principals. And so the United Way Family Center at Excel will not only change our students, but I think it will change the trajectory of several of our students in Baltimore City Public Schools.
My name is Shania Turner. I'm a student at Excel Academy, and my principal and my social worker introduced me to United Way when they found out that I was pregnant. When I finally told them I was pregnant, and they thought it would help me by me being in school, so I can stay focused and not stay home. It's been helpful. They supply me with things that I need if I need them or when I need them. And they call me to check up on me. Now, whenever we do finally start back to school, I know that I have somewhere for her to be while I'm in school, so I don't have to pay for babysitting.
I'm Ryan Cowden, COO and co-founder at Plano Cowden Construction. Plano Cowden could not be more proud to be working with the United Way and other partners to build the new family center at the Excel Academy. Community is a core value at Plano Cowden, and we work hard every day to be a part of the fabric of our community. This project gives us a unique opportunity to combine our expertise in construction, our passion for building, and our passion for giving back, and we could not be happier to be a part of this.
Hi, I'm Blair Radney with Plano Cowden, and we're working with United Way to create a new certified daycare for their facility here. And we just want to show you what it's going to look like, so why don't you follow me and we'll come on in. As we enter in here, this is going to be the new vestibule. We're going to be removing some of this wall, and as we enter in, we'll be going from this hallway section into the vestibule where it'll be a nice open area for the parents to drop off their children. Where we're standing right now will be the vestibule, and we'll be looking at the new entryway, which will be right where this bookcase is now, which won't be here after we're done. So what we'll do is we'll walk around the space as if we are actually in it. So come in this direction. Along these walls, these walls will be removed. There will be new office space in here for the director and family services, and we'll have a conference room back in here. So this is a lot of the back of house space for the daycare. And as we move through this direction, this block wall that we see here will be removed, and in its place will be a new infant area. We're walking into the new infant area. So all this will be opened up. This will be a nice open space in here. We'll have two specific areas for the infants to sleep, also a play area, and then the back along this wall will be the sinks and cabinets for use, for taking care of the infants. And we'll walk back around and take a look at the toddler area. Bring into what will be the toddler room. So you can envision right here, right now there's this wall here, there's this dark wall here. This is going to come down. It's going to be a new restroom for the toddlers. We're going to have a play area right in here. And along this wall, it's hard to vision right now, but right now there'll be nice open windows we'll be putting in, and a new entrance out into the parking, so that brings the light into the space. And that's our tour.
So hi, I'm Cliff Milstead with Plano Cowden Construction, and today we're going to walk through the new United Way play space at Excel. The new playground entrance is going to be just up here on the right. The kids will exit the school, walk along this path, just beyond this tree. And as they enter in, there's going to be a new cedar wood trellis that marks the entrance to this play space. So as you walk into the space, we do have several existing trees that are going to be removed so we can grade out this space. The main focal point of the play space is going to be an artificial turf area right in the center, kind of a bean-shaped area, and it's going to have an outdoor chalkboard to provide some outdoor teaching opportunities for the children.
Sonya Edie.
The playground is slated to be completed in June, so we're very thankful to Lowe's companies who sponsored a majority of this playground project. This safe green space for our children and families participating in our programming is so very important. So we're thankful to our partners, Baltimore City Public Schools, Plano, Cowden, Florida Teeter, and Copt. This Lowe's partnership has been so rich, and the opportunity to work with Lamar Jackson through this partnership and his design team to create a very special mural for one of the classrooms is exciting. The mural has not been unveiled yet, but we're so excited for everyone to see it. In the meanwhile, what you see on the screen is a small portion of the mural that Lamar Jackson himself painted. It's a child-friendly version of his Wild Dog logo. Era 8 is Lamar's company. We're so excited to have a piece from one of our hometown heroes in the Family Center. So we want to thank all of our partners and donors who made this a reality and celebrate you. We couldn't have done it without you. We're so close to reaching our goal. However, we still have capital need through June 30th of 2021. We're so close to it, but we also need sustainable funding for next fiscal year starting July 1st for ongoing operations. Now we'd like to open this up to questions. Please enter your questions in the chat box and we'll respond. If we're not able to answer all questions in our time here this morning, we'll try to follow up with you personally and address them in our follow-up email. So I'd like to welcome Franklin Baker back to lead this portion. Franklin? And you can begin to, as you start, you can begin to just put any questions you have in the chat box.
I do see one.
How many students will be served, and how United Way will decide which students get priority if there are only a few spaces. And so we'll have in the early child development space for 18 students. So the capacity is 18 at a time. We hope to be able to serve more. We also will be serving additional expectant students. And so for the year, at least 20, but there'll also be home visiting going on. So there'll be a yearly, at least another 35 in addition to that. Priority will be giving to those who we want to help students graduate. And so, of course, those in the community, but then also those who are closer, who need that space to graduate school. And so we'll decide that alongside the administration at Excel Academy. How have other community members reacted to the news of the Family Center? I think as you heard in the video, from what we've gathered so far, that we've heard, and I'd love to hear from Ashley too, to share this from their perspective, that from the most part, people have been excited to hear about the Family Center, just because that is, as we spoke before, that's kind of one of the gaps.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the feedback is, can there be 2 family centers? I mean, it's such a huge need. And to the last person's point about priority, we are able to serve 18 families, but a family center like this in this area really could double and still not be meeting the need. So I think that the community is just really excited to have to have this coming, in hopes that, you know, it will attract more attention to the needs of particularly young families in the area.
Absolutely. And we've talked with other, you know, community residents and organizations about, you know, kind of what their hopes are and what they would like to open, and how we can help to support what their dreams are, even in supporting families. And so we want to be able to collaborate around that. There was also a question around key operational programmatic lessons learned from the Ben Center in Brooklyn. And so absolutely, we are applying all of those lessons learned to Poppleton as well. And that center, we actually is a promising practice now nationally. And so we are trying to, you know, keep fidelity to the model while also applying lessons learned. Yes, the Family Center will be opening to participants in July, but we will be starting information, you know, was kind of, we are continuing to build relationships and join with kind of participants prior to that. And so I think we are at a point where we, and a great point, a promising practice, so that to just let you all know kind of what a promising practice is. And so generally it's when there is work done with a smaller population, and the hope is to be able to apply it to a larger population in the future, hopefully as a best practice. And so that's, I guess, a brief version of what it is, but we want to take that to it's a evidence-based practice. So Ashley, is there anything you want to add before we want to move to closing out, because we're at our time right now? So we want to thank you all for your questions, and thank you for joining us today. I'd like to really express my heartfelt thanks to all of our partners and generous donors who are supporting this critical initiative. And I know Franklin would want to do the same. He's having some technical difficulties right now. And so we just know that because of all of you, we make our neighbors in Poppleton and the community they call home stronger. And we could not do this without the community. We do it alongside them. So to learn more about our work with the Neighborhood Zone in Poppleton, uwcm.org/United for Poppleton. And so we thank you all so much, and we hope you have a wonderful day.